kitchen fixing a beautiful, delicious, high protein meal that's going to get us through dinner and have lunch for work tomorrow. So join me tonight as I make a delicious, I keep saying beautiful, but it's super delicious Mediterranean rice and ground chicken. So this dish I've made many times, but I've never made it with the ground chicken. I've always made it with like a salmon, but I don't have any salmon tonight. I do have ground chicken that I was supposed to cook yesterday, so I figured why not mix it up a little bit. Also, instead of so it's a Mediterranean rice, and the last time I've made it, I've never made it with the quinoa. So tonight we are going to be adding some quinoa to this dish just to make sure that we are hitting our protein goals. If you're new to my channel, as I said, my name is Ayana Peterson, the Thrifting Diva. And on this channel, we talk about having a luxe lifestyle on a budget, and that includes our health. I have been on a journey to lose some weight recently. And one of the things that have really been working for me is having a nutritious meal that is working with the weight goals and working with the workouts that I'm doing. And that has been focusing really on high protein. And when I say high protein, ultimately the goal is about 50 grams of protein in a meal. I'm not there yet, but right now I've been doing basically I can get to maybe 30 to 40 grams of protein in a meal. So that's what we're doing. What I have, because I started cooking a little bit before I jumped on this live, I put the quinoa and rice on. And so just making sure that that gets going a little bit so that we can finish this live in literally under an hour. What I am doing is I mix the quinoa. And so I have tricolor quinoa and I mixed it with the chef blend. This is a basmati brown, red, and wild rice. And I kind of mix them only because one, my kids don't like quinoa by itself. So I'm trying to still work that in and mixing them at least with the rice. Most people don't even realize the quinoa is in there. So it's one of the little tricks that I've been doing to get that quinoa in, especially for someone who doesn't like it. So if you are watching this and you haven't tried quinoa before, or you've tried it and you never liked it, which was me, honestly, I felt like quinoa tasted like sand. Like I was just like, this is not it. But mixing them together has been a game changer. And I'm still getting the quinoa in there and I'm still getting the rice in there. Dresky, Lala, and Santino, thank you so much for jumping on. So tonight what we're doing is cooking a Mediterranean rice with some ground chicken. The rice portion of it is going now. So what you're going to need is rice. As I mentioned, I'm doing the quinoa, and the quinoa is going to give me 5 grams of protein. And this rice is 3 grams of protein in each serving. So obviously the quinoa gives you more than you need. So 5 grams of protein. And then we're going to do some ground chicken because that's where definitely I'm going to get the most of my protein. And that's going to be 22 grams of protein in a serving. As I mentioned, if you didn't hear in the beginning, I've been on a weight loss journey and have lost about 11 pounds in 7 weeks right now. And the goal is another 9 pounds to go. And so one of the things that's been working really well is what I've been eating. Yes, I'm working out 5 days a week. However, I'm telling you now, it's not about the cardio. It's not about the gym. It's not about the weights, a little bit about the weights. But 70% of it is really honestly about what you're eating. So if you don't have that on lock, I'm telling you, it's going to take you a longer time and you're not going to see those goals that you're looking forward to. You may feel very discouraged, or you may feel like this is taking way too long. If that's your case, then you want to try this high protein, low calorie dinners that I've been making, because I think that's what's really working. Okay. Now, when I first started doing this, a lot of people were like, oh, check out, YouTube for some ideas on what to eat for low calorie breakfast, lunch, and dinners and snacks. And I'll tell you, for the most part, a lot of them had the same ingredients done in a very boring fashion. And I'm not about that lifestyle. I love my food, but obviously I wanted to taste really good. I can't have the same piece of chicken for 4 days in a row. I can't have the same piece of broccoli for 5 days. I can't meal prep where I'm eating the same thing for 6 days. So this has been exactly what I've needed. All right, so let's jump into some cooking. And Carter Bordelon, thank you so much. Um, wow, I'm going to go ahead and help you with that. Um, okay, there we go. Easy. So, sorry you are unable to talk to me in that way. Okay, let's start with what we're gonna need. As I mentioned, I have the chicken and the quinoa on because it's gonna take a little longer. I use a rice cooker, and what I did to add more protein to it, instead of making it in water, I used bone broth, not chicken broth. Different thing, right? Chicken broth is going to give you about 2 or 3 grams of protein, maybe. Bone broth is going to give you 9 grams of protein. So I used 3 cups to make this dish, to make the rice in the rice cooker. Just be careful of that, okay? Especially if you're someone trying to get those proteins sneaking up. As I said, ultimate goal is to have about 50 grams of protein in a meal. I'm not there yet, but it's little things like that that I'm doing to add that protein in very quickly. All right. First thing I'm going to do, I am going to chop up some things. My chicken is, here we go. Just put you out there so you can see. I would have showed them the door, kind of like taking out the trash. You're so interesting to listen, very informative. Lori, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's been a long day, so I really don't have the energy or time for people. You don't want to listen, and that's the great thing about having the internet and lives. You can just skip on over. Okay, so what we're talking about, let me get some onions going. I'm gonna season this a little bit. Seasoning your food is key to enjoying your food. Okay? If you're not seasoning it, then things are going to go downhill for you really quickly in how you're going to stick to any diet. So yeah, here we go. I need a white onion or yellow onion, sorry. And then let me get my knife going here, and so we can begin this process. If I can find my knife. I'm looking for a very special knife because that is how this Japanese knife I bought, and it's like it's tea. It is so amazing. I got this in Japan back in April for my birthday, and I almost feel like I can't cook with anything but this knife at this point because it just handles the food. It's a whole different level. So let me just wash that and let's begin. Okay, we're making Mediterranean rice with an emphasis on flavor and high protein. And so I'm going to cut up some onions right now. What I have going in the meanwhile is I have the rice mixed with quinoa in the rice cooker. And let me just get a little trash bin for these things. Okay. And so this dish will come together really quickly. I think the thing that takes the longest is really making sure you have some rice on hand. I did not have any, so that's why I'm making, if you have rice on hand, it's super easy. It will be a 30-minute meal to do, but it's so delicious. I've made this meal many, many times, and every time I've made it with salmon. So today I figured let's try something different, and I'm gonna make it with ground chicken. I honestly don't think it will make a difference. So I'm just cutting, and I'm gonna cut this up a little bit. And you'll see how the knife just goes through everything so quickly. And we're done here. I have some scallions that I want to add to this and some garlic. So here's your scallions, or green onion, as some people will call it by. I'm going to rinse that off. And I'm just going to take a few pieces. Hopefully you can see the magic in here. Let me know where you guys are tuning in, if you're able to type into your on your phone. I'm not sure who's watching from their television, but let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I am in sunny San Diego. Girl Dad Cooking, thank you so much. It is such a beautiful knife. It is. This one is the Miyabi 7009, but it is made in Japan. It is perfection. I can't wait to get some more on there. I love it. Um, Hello, Mr. Dark, Jaylene. Thank you. Can I tell you something? Jaylene, if it's appropriate to what we're talking about, sure, go for it. Okay. The other thing I want to get some, we have some other pieces, but let's work on the chicken first. Can keep it simple, and then we'll work on the other parts of the rice as that's cooking. So all I'm going to do, as I said, I need garlic. Sorry. Whenever I cut onions, it's like almost like my brain freezes also. Because the tearing of the onions is just like, I wish they could invent something that, or a trick that actually works so that we don't have to worry about the tearing up and stuff like that. Hey, yo boy Coco. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Hope all is well on your side of the world. All right, so I'm just getting some garlic in here, some fresh garlic to do this meal. And I think that would be all we need. I have a few heads here, and we're just going to smash it down. Have you had dinner yet on your side? As I said, I'm in San Diego, so dinner is in an hour for us at 8. But let me know if you've had dinner yet. I am doing excellent. Hungry today because I kind of today was a fasting day for me because this weekend I had some folks in town and kind of did not stick 100% to my high protein meals and stuff like that. So I fasted a little more today. So I am definitely hungry. So I'm very much looking forward to this meal. Also looking forward to it because it's one of my favorite Mediterranean meals to cook. It's so good. It's tasty. And I'm looking forward to kind of a little change up today with how I'm doing it. As I said, it's a Mediterranean rice that I'm making with ground chicken. But instead of just doing rice alone like I normally do, I'm adding quinoa in a mix so that I could sneak in more protein, less carbs, So I'm looking forward to that. Trying to see if I could get to 45 grams of protein in this meal, which I think I could get to with the things that I'm planning on adding to it. And so what I'm doing is just cutting up a little bit of vegetables here. That's going to go with the chicken, the ground chicken that I'm making. Can you use other pieces of chicken for this? Absolutely. But I have ground chicken and I need to use it. So we're going to go with what we have in the house. All right. So what I'm going to do is take you over to the kitchen and let's start. I have my cast iron skillet here. I'm going to rinse this off a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and put it on. It looks like my rice is almost done. So this meal can come together super quickly now because it's just a matter of adding some delicious things to it. All right, so the skillet is going. Let me just check on the rice and quinoa combo. As I said, this combo is such an easy one for, especially if you're new to quinoa and you're not into it yet. I think this is a good one for anyone trying to get into it and it's like, oh, not a fan of quinoa. I really do like this, how it comes out. Because the rice is still in it, so you don't feel like you're eating just quinoa by itself. Okay, why am I moving you? Okay, gonna put you back here. Right, this is the um, cast iron pot that I'm getting ready to put the vegetables in. And while that is happening, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting up some other vegetables for the rice. And the most important one, let me start getting my, actually, move that over there. You guys could come back with me. Sorry for me being so frazzled. Okay, while the pot is getting hot, the other things you can start working on, you can't have Mediterranean without some olives. So I am going to start, these are pitted Kalamata olives, but I want to make them half. You can keep them whole if you like, but for me, I just think it's easier when we cook it and when we eat it and it's half. So I'm going to take out a new pot. And while the thing is going, let's cut some of these up. And basically, I'm just going to try to half them. Okay, just nothing fancy. We're just halving them. If you don't want to half it, I don't think you have to. But I know for my family, especially the kids who don't love olives, the whole ones definitely for them is like, oh, it's mom, it's too much. So I'm just going to grab and get some of them out of here. Empty some of this liquid. And then we're putting these on here. Cabbage and onion with sausage. Oh my gosh, sounds really good. That sounds like an idea for tomorrow's meal, actually. I haven't had cabbage in a while, so thanks for sharing that one. I might make that. That sounds really good. Sounds like a good one that you can make high protein and low calories in general. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just cutting my olives in half. You do not have to do that. You can um, keep them whole. Oops, lost a couple. You can keep them whole if you want to, but I've done this recipe so many times, like I realized that keeping them whole, most people don't eat it. So I like to half them a little bit. And I've tried buying the ones that already cut in half, and for some reason, it just doesn't taste the same. It does not. So I just take the extra time to go in and cut them in half here. The next thing I want to do is cut up a little bit of my red onion this time. And this is going to go in with the rice, as I mentioned. I feel like you can have Mediterranean without red onions, olives. It's just a thing that goes so much in most of those cuisine. You'll see it. Okay. All right. I think that's enough. And now let's cut up some. I don't need that much. So you saw I cut pretty much like a third instead of a half. Okay. And then I'm okay with it being in the same juices from the olives. It's almost like seasoning the onions at this time. I'm just going to cut. I'm going to cut these down as well. A little rough chop. Okay. This is just basically to make that Mediterranean rice, and we're going to be seasoning it and stuff like that. Okay, back over here. Pot is really nice and hot, and just a little bit of olive oil so that we can get our onions, green onions, and garlic going. And then we're going to add our ground chicken to cook in there. And then I'm going to remove the stuff from in here because I'm going to use the same pan to make my rice. The one last thing I do need to cut up is some tomatoes for the rice. So I'm going to put this on medium. And I'm going to get this in here. If you are someone new to cooking or you don't like cooking, I would say the one thing that makes your food easily taste so good without you having to really worry about technique is just adding some like aromatics, right? Like this is what I would consider your aromatics. The onion, the garlic, some green onions. That's some aromatics. It's going to smell amazing. And when it starts smelling amazing, you know you got something going. So don't be afraid, you know, even if you don't know like what other spices to put in it. If you just put fresh spices like this, it smells amazing. It's going to taste amazing. I'm going to let's do that a little bit. And then do it like that. I'm telling you, this is something that is so easy to make. And this is one of those meals that you could make a lot of and not have to, and can have for dinner, lunch, breakfast. I mean, you don't have to eat eggs alone for breakfast, right? Like dinner for breakfast is just as good. Okay. I'm going to keep the heat on medium, a little less than medium actually, because I want that to cook nice. And then I'm going to still season it with some what we would call Mediterranean spices. So I'm going to grab my oregano. I'm going to get some smoked paprika in there. Let's see if we have some dry thyme. And you're just going to chop this up a little bit so that, you know, it's ground chicken. So we want it to be grounded up, not like one big piece. And as I said, let's grab some oregano. We're doing a Mediterranean rice. I'm going to keep this out because I'm going to need this oregano for some other stuff. Let me get some, I'm going to put some crushed red pepper in here tonight. You guys, if you've been following me, you know I love my spice. You can never go wrong with a little bit of spice. And especially with ground chicken, you need some spice. Like, you just need the spice in there. This is an, I thought I had some thyme, but it doesn't look like we have any. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this table blend. It's salt free. It's basically like a garlic kind of blend of different seasonings, but I like it because it is salt free, so I don't have to worry about adding too much of that in there. I'm looking for some paprika. If I have some smoked paprika in here. Give this a little color. Okay, maybe I don't have any. Oh, there we go. Okay. And that should work. Let's get some color going with our proteins, right? Like, and I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper and salt. And this smells so good. Smells so good. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Okay. And then some black pepper. Remember, over 27 grams of protein for the chicken alone. And then we're going to make the rice separate. I'm still in my head back and forth whether I want to mix this in with the rice, but I have time to think about that. Let's start working on getting the rice in there. So I'm gonna lower this a little bit so it can cook, and then I'm gonna get the tomatoes from the fridge because we need tomatoes. Okay, so I'm grabbing some tomatoes, and this is just gonna cook down. Remember, you wanted no pink in there, so I see some pink still. But doesn't this look amazing? Like something you can just eat right out of the pot. And so this is ground chicken. As I said, I just can't eat the same chicken breasts, grilled chicken breasts or baked chicken breasts every day. When they used to say meal prep and you have to eat it for like 5 days in a row, it's just, I can't. So if you're liking what you're seeing so far, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Would truly appreciate that. Okay, so what I have here is some grape tomatoes. Okay, and so you already see on the board, I have my olives. I feel like I need more olives. I love olives. And then we have our grape tomatoes. Also, one of those things that I'm definitely going to dice up a little bit instead of it being whole. But if you want to keep it whole, go ahead. I just prefer, I've tried it when I've done it whole too, and I was like, next time I'm going to dice it. So I always dice just so that it's more edible. Like, I feel like eating this with a chunk of rice is just, as a whole thing, is just not happening. But cut like this and, definitely makes a big difference. And so all you're doing is just, making some slices down the middle. And I think that should work. I do think I should probably add some more. I just love how the olives taste. So I'm just gonna add a little more. So I'm cutting them in half. All right. There we go. Probably still need more, but let's get this show on the road, as they will say. Okay, and so I'm just cutting the cherry tomatoes. Oh my gosh, knife went right through my nail. This knife is it's just ridiculously sharp, I swear. Special Master, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello, how are you doing this beautiful Monday? Okay, that should be enough. Okay, because there's some other things that's going in here, so I don't need to overdo it. Let's see if the chicken is ready, because then we need to take that off the stove. Oh my gosh, it looks delicious. Yes. And so this is ground chicken. It's seasoned with some Mediterranean spices. So I have in here oregano, um, some salt blend, paprika, salt, pepper, and then of course our aromatics, which are onions and garlic. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna put this in a small bowl for now, and then we're gonna start making the Mediterranean rice. I rather eat rather eat chicken breasts like this any day. Any day. Let me get this. I see a little bit of areas that look like they're still pink, so I want to make sure. Raise the heat a little bit, and we should be good to go. Any questions? Watching from Mazatlan, Mexico. Patricia, thank you. Thanks for the international view. I love it. I was just in Mexico about 2 months ago. Um, we were in, where did we go? Cabo? Was it Cabo? No, Puerto Vallarta. Okay. So I'm taking this out. Doesn't seem like this is the best way to get that out quickly. So taking this out, and what's going to be great is having like the juices from this chicken seasoning the pan ready for the rice. So it's going to be it's going to be good. All right. Using your same pot, okay? What we're going to do is saute the other vegetables and stuff that we have for the rice. So we're making Mediterranean rice. And what I have cut up on the side is tomatoes, red onions, and some cut up olives. Okay. And then I just quickly diced up a little bit of green onions. So I'm just going to add a little more oil. So about less than a tablespoon, or maybe that will be considered a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add everything into the pot like that. And then we're just going to mix that in together. And raise the heat on that. And that already smells amazing. Smells like you're ready to eat. And if you haven't heard me say before, you want to season in layers. Okay, so I'm add a little bit of oregano. I'm not gonna add salt because of our olives a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of red pepper. And I'm gonna add some black pepper. Seasoning in layers is what it's called. Flex said, let me have a bite. Flex, I promise if folks who stop by, I would give a bite for sure. And then we're going to do a little bit of the table blend. Remember, I like this because once again, it's salt free and it really does add some good textures on there. Okay. Okay. The next thing I'm going to add to this, believe it or not, is a can of chickpeas. Remember, I'm adding protein because that's what this is about, right? Like it's about me getting as much protein in a meal in various different ways. And since it's a Mediterranean meal, why not chickpeas? So I'm just rinsing out my chickpeas so that I could get as much of the sodium off of this can. But for chickpeas, we're looking at 6 grams of protein in a serving. Okay. So the one I love using is the Goya. And we're going to just add it like that. 1 can should be enough. My husband's been trying to get me to cook less so that we kind of go through all the meals that I'm cooking. So normally I would have done 2 cans, but we'll see how this works. Okay. And so we're going to have that cut. I'm going to put this on medium for a little bit and have that kind of get nice and cooked together. And while that is working, the part that I love about this meal of the most is this little mixture that I make with it. You're going to see it. Okay. So feta cheese, because how are we going to have Mediterranean without the feta. Okay. Hello, Malva. Welcome, welcome. And hello, Donella Jackson. Thank you so much. Um, so what I'm gonna do, just gonna grab a little bowl here. This is the easy. This is super easy. All you're gonna do is cut this. Right now, I have my little mixture going. I'm gonna pour out the whole thing. Okay. So it's your feta cheese. Throw that out. And then we're gonna get our oregano. I like to go heavy on this one. So, but it's up to you if you like oregano or not, right? I'm gonna take a little bit of olive oil. I need a little bit of black pepper. This is gonna come together so nicely. You're gonna see, you're like, oh my gosh. Okay. And then I'm gonna mix this together. I'm gonna need a little more olive oil here. Okay, and then you're gonna set this aside for a second. Let's go back to the pot and finish this dinner together. You're gonna see how that's gonna come together very nicely. Okay, I think this is ready. Now we're gonna add the rice. Okay, so let me get a few cups of rice I might do. Now remember, this is rice and quinoa mixed together. Okay. And then, oh my gosh, it looks amazing. Keep your heat low at this point because you don't want things to start burning. And then we'll be able to add probably another cup. And so this is what I used to do before was just rice, but this is a mix of rice and quinoa. I'm going to do 1 more cup. And now the question for you guys is, should I mix in the chicken with it? I think I should. Or do the chicken on the side. I think I'm going to go with mixing it in together. Right, let's make it 1 pot. So now I'm adding my chicken. Oh my gosh. Everything is seasoned separately and then it comes together. So it's just a Mediterranean rice and chicken. And then the last part of this is to add that cheese mixture. So this is the feta cheese mixture that you just had. And you're gonna just get that all in there. And keep that fire low so you're not burning anything. And there we go. All the goodness. So one pot, 1 meal. If you want to add some yogurt on top of it, that would also be just fine. Of course, I got to taste it to make sure we have everything in here mixed in well, or do we need to add anything else? The one thing I haven't added yet is salt. And I kind of wait till the end for that just to make sure that, we're not making anything too salty because we have a lot going on. And so I'm just going to see if I can get some of the chicken. All right. Oh my gosh. Perfection. Mm, perfection. Perfection. Very easy. Very, very easy to make. Yes, I think leftovers are going to be 10 times better. Not bad. Need seasoned salt. It doesn't, because I did season it with all the other things already. And then you remember you have that saltiness a little bit from the olives. So I don't think we need to add any more, but obviously always to your tasting, always to your tasting. Don't let um don't let them scare you into not having tasty food, especially if you're trying to lose weight. So what I'm going to do is just plate it a little bit so that we can see the goodness. If you can't have it with me, at least you can see the goodness of this meal. And while I'm cleaning up, let me just recap what we have so that you go ahead and make it yourself. This is a Mediterranean. I'm just going to get stuff ready into the dishwasher, but y'all could work with me here, okay? So we started off with making our rice quinoa mix. I'm trying to do high protein, so for me, this was the ideal combo. It had some basmati, brown, red, and wild rice, and then this is the tricolor quinoa. The quinoa is going to give me 5 grams of protein. The rice is going to give me only 3 grams of protein. So we added these. And then to make it, what I did is instead of using water, I used 3 cups of bone broth instead. And the bone broth is going to give me 9 grams of protein. So we had 9 and 3 is 12 and 5, right? So we have 17 alone in the rice, okay? And that's what I'm trying to do, right? Everything I'm cooking is trying to add all those proteins up, even if we have to sneak them in different ways, okay? It doesn't all have to come from a big slab of meat um, in general, okay? Once I did that, I seasoned my ground chicken. The ground chicken is going to give me 27 grams of protein. The goal is 40 grams of protein in each meal. I think I killed it with that. So I seasoned that by just cutting up some yellow onions, some scallion, and some garlic, my aromatics, okay? If you're not someone who loves cooking, just some garlic and onion is always gonna kill it, always gonna make sure you love it. Cashews or almonds, too much. I don't like either in my food, to be honest. I love them. Like I'm actually eating almonds right now, like on the side, but I don't like them in my food for some reason. I always find them to be too hard in food and it just kind of spoils the taste. Okay, so for the chicken, basically I seasoned it with some smoked paprika, obviously some salt and pepper, but then I did some red pepper flakes and I did some oregano because we're doing Mediterranean. Okay, and then I cut up some. I should have used a little bit of these. I don't know why I saved it, but maybe um, I can make something for breakfast with it. Um, and so I cut those up along with olives. Okay, and what else did we put in there? And then obviously some red onions. Put all of that together, made a beautiful, nice little glaze or a little sauteed sauce. Then add the rice, chickpeas along with it, adding some more protein. And then to finish it off, some feta cheese, a feta cheese mix that was mixed with oregano, some salt, and well, no salt, pepper. So dinner is served. And let me just take this out. It's one of my easiest combo, but every time I make this for guests, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, what? It's so good." And so this is a Mediterranean rice. As I said, I've always made it before um, with a piece of grilled salmon on top. It's so delicious. So if that's what you want to do for your protein, go for it. Um, but tonight I had some ground chicken left, high protein. Figured this will go really good with the meal, and it did. Just make sure you cook the ground chicken by itself so that you can really season it well. I don't think if you cook it with the rice, it will be seasoned too well. It will kind of miss the flavor. So let's one more time. Here's a big piece of chicken here, some olives. Mm, absolutely amazing. And for those who don't like quinoa, you barely taste it. You won't taste it, but yet you're gonna get that low carb um, instead of having it just be a plate of all rice. Mm, it's delicious. My rice cooker is Procter Selects, pretty cheap. I think I paid $10 for that rice cooker, but it's been going for like 5 years, so I'm not gonna diss it at all. Um, Eagle River, Wisconsin. First time getting to see you. Delightful. Sandy, thank you so much. Okay. So dinner is served, as I said, Mediterranean rice. Guys, try it. I promise you it will be an easy meal that you can cook. And this is something tomorrow that will taste so much better because all these juices are going to soak into the rice and into the quinoa. So lunch tomorrow is going to be a hit. All right. Let me know what questions you may have. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, can we explain why? If you haven't given this a thumbs up, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. Ooh, I taste the pepper, the kick comes on later in life. I love it, love it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining. Not sure what I'm cooking tomorrow, but you do know that it will be a high protein meal that's meant to enhance the weight loss that you're looking to do, enhance the workouts that you're already doing. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much, your boy Coco. Bye bye. It looks fantastic. I will make this. Thank you. I'm gonna leave the recipe in the description below. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Good evening. Bye.